Sergio Busquets is the silent genius. Don't believe me? Just look at this. There are footballers who announce themselves with speed, power, and spectacle. And then there are footballers who almost feel like background noise until the moment you remove them, and suddenly the entire structure collapses. And Sergio Busquets belongs to that second category, the most dangerous kind, because his influence is silent, constant, and structural. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll think he's doing nothing, when in reality, he's doing everything.
Who would you take as a holding midfield player? Pirlo or Busquets?
Busquets.
Probably Busquets, yeah.
Football teaches us to associate intelligence with visibility, with passes that split defenses, tackles that ignite crowds, gestures that look decisive. But Busquets operated in the margins of perception, in the half second before danger, in the half meter of space opponents didn't realize they needed, and that's why he never looked busy, never looked rushed, never looked dramatic. Because drama is usually a symptom of bad positioning, and Busquets almost never had to be dramatic. If you watch him properly, not following the ball, but following the structure, something strange becomes clear very quickly. Attacks slow down around him, pressing patterns lose coherence, passing lanes shrink without anyone visibly closing them, and opponents start circulating the ball wider and wider. Not because they want to, but because the center feels unavailable. And that's not coincidence, that's design. Busquets didn't defend by chasing, he defended by denying. His greatest strength was not tackling, pace, or physicality. It was spatial intelligence combined with timing, the ability to stand exactly where two threats intersect, blocking one lane with his body while being one step away from the other, forcing ball carriers into decisions they didn't want to make, and then punishing them for making them. He didn't win the ball explosively, he won it inevitably, because by the time the opponent committed, every alternative was already gone. Busquets was never reacting to danger. He was managing potential. While most defensive midfielders sprint toward problems after they appear, Busquets quietly adjusted his position before the problem existed, shuffling laterally, retreating diagonally, maintaining passing angles with his center-backs, while simultaneously screening forwards. And that ability allowed Barcelona to defend with fewer players, higher lines, and more control, because chaos was filtered through him before it reached the back line. And then there's his relationship with pressure, which is where his genius becomes almost uncomfortable to watch. Where most players panic under pressure, Busquets invited it. He understood that pressure is only dangerous if you don't know where it's coming from, and he always knew. One touch to bait, one pause to freeze, one body feint to shift the presser's weight. And suddenly, the most aggressive press in Europe looked slow and confused, because Busquets didn't escape pressure. He absorbed it and redirected it elsewhere.
Busquets has seen it all, bro. He's seen like 3 different eras of football. And he's been a big part in all of them. He's won pretty much every title you could dream of as a footballer. And he's played alongside some of the greats, with himself being such a fantastic player.
In possession, he wasn't a playmaker in the traditional sense, but he was the enabler of all playmakers. His passes weren't spectacular, they were corrective. He chose the pass that restored spacing, reset angles, and re-established structure. When the game sped up too much, he slowed it. When circulation became sterile, he pierced it with a vertical pass that didn't break lines aggressively, but surgically. Always waited to protect the receiver rather than impress the crowd. His first touch was defensive as much as technical. By opening his body in specific ways, by receiving side-on, by cushioning the ball into space rather than stopping it dead, he created time not just for himself, but for the entire team, allowing interiors to push higher, full-backs to advance, center-backs to hold aggressive positions, because Busquets was the guarantee behind them, the fail-safe, the reset button when things went wrong. Tactically, Busquets was the axis. Everything rotated around him, not because he demanded the ball, but because the system needed him to exist in that exact space between lines, close enough to help build up, far enough to screen counters, intelligent enough to choose when not to intervene.
Because we look at the holding midfielders of today, like Rodri, Declan Rice is being spoke about, you've got Casemiro, etc. These guys, over the last 10 or so years, Toni Kroos, Busquets is another level, isn't he?
Yes, he was.
He understood that the most important defensive action is often rest defense, being positioned well enough that the opponent never even attempts the risky pass. Defensively in transition, when games become chaotic and structures break down, Busquets didn't sprint mindlessly. He delayed. He cut central lanes, retreated diagonally, forced ball carriers wide, bought time for recovery. And that delay was everything. Because once shape is restored, attacking advantage evaporates, and predictability returns. And predictability is death for attackers. What truly elevated Busquets, though, was consistency of decision-making. He almost never chose the wrong option, not because he played safe, but because he understood risk distribution. He knew when risk belonged to others and when it belonged to him, and he absorbed responsibility without absorbing attention. Coaches trusted him because he simplified complexity. Teammates trusted him because the game felt calmer when he was nearby. And that's why his decline was so visible late in his career. Not because he suddenly became bad, but because his game relied on margins. Half a step slower, half a meter late, and the illusion breaks. Because Busquets was never about recovery, he was about prevention. When prevention fades, the system feels naked, exposed, louder, more frantic, and suddenly people realize how much silence he used to provide.
He read absolutely everything what happened, and he anticipate, he read the situations quickly, he applied perfectly. As much he didn't move much of the center, he could solve all the problems with his brain.
Calling Sergio Busquets a defensive midfielder is technically correct and fundamentally insufficient. He was a spatial governor, a tempo regulator, a structural anchor, and a psychological stabilizer all at once. He didn't dominate matches by doing more than everyone else. He dominated them by ensuring everyone else could do exactly what they were supposed to do. So if you ever watch a match and feel like the opposition can't play through the middle, can't counter cleanly, can't press effectively, and can't explain why the game feels heavy and constrained, look for the tall, unhurried figure standing just out of focus, making small movements that change everything. Because Sergio Busquets never needed noise, never needed highlight reels, never needed validation. He didn't control the ball. He controlled what was allowed to happen around it. And once you learn how to see that, you realize something quietly terrifying. Football was bending to his intelligence long before anyone thought to applaud it.